Welcome everybody here to the UCE Nations Cup 2025. It's time for another day of group stage action, and we're jumping tonight into Group B. Before we get into that though, the introductions are in order. I'm Infinity. You'll have seen me cast Call of Duty Mobile over the course of the last year or so, and of course here with UCE. But I'm joined tonight by none other than Connie. Connie, how you doing, mate?
Absolutely wonderful. Thanks for having me on, Infinity. I mean, it's been a good year since I last was on UCE, and, you know, it was a beautiful time in itself, but not just that. It's a different format and a different concept overall with the Nations League we have here. It's fun casting teams, but it's even more enriching casting whole nations. This is probably one of the most exciting concepts that I've been a part of for sure.
Yep, for sure. I mean, there's a kind of infinite possibilities when we come down to this kind of nations format, right? You know, you've got a different kind of ball game. Normally, you've got all these different teams and you have to compete against one another and you kind of know what to expect. And albeit there's a couple of teams in the tournament that are more or less the same roster that they normally play with. Yeah, the nations being in the mix kind of does mix things up a little bit. I guess we should kind of explain the format quickly before going on our first match then. So for those of you guys who aren't aware, normally we have all of the teams that you normally see play against one another do exactly that for all of the dollar bills, y'all. But in the UCE Nations Cup, it is all about playing for your country. So we've mixed all the teams up and we've taken the best players from every single country that's participating and taken them and putting them together to kind of hash it out in Call of Duty Mobile. So that's the basics here, and tonight we're taking a look over at Group B. Connie, we got some good teams tonight. Of course, last week we kind of had the Seed 1 versus Seed 4, Seed 2 versus Seed 3, so pretty much every match last week was a blowout, but this week we're going to see the best of each group go head-to-head, and the worst of each group go head-to-head. So that means we're going to kick off tonight with the former of those two matches. It's time to see whether a team can make it through effectively to playoffs.
Absolutely, and to kick off today's fixtures, it's a very historic derby in Europe in itself. It's England versus Spain. Now, in terms of national sport, there's a whole 100-year history to dive into, but I'm not going to do it now because that's going to be a good 40-minute ramble. In UCE COD, I think this is a fresh start for both teams. I mean, in terms of skill, like Brody said, we're kind of keeping it very tight to the button. There's a lot of similarities and not much to separate, but you know, this is sort of how the tables tend to chop and chive within the first few iterations and weeks as we go on throughout the tournament. Things are going to change, absolutely. But because it's so neck and neck, and it's England versus Spain, I'm quite excited. I mean, I can't really separate or kind of, you know, put a leg up early on, but me and Brody are, in fact, English. So, yeah, just take it as it is, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely no bias on tonight's broadcast. But yeah, you talk about that first match of the day. We do have England versus Spain. Now, interestingly, of course, these are technically speaking the strongest teams in the group. I think anybody who looks at the teams in this group would say that for sure. But they are not actually both 1-0 going into that week. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Let's start with England. I think is probably the best team to start this conversation with. Now, England in Call of Duty Mobile has always been sort of a mixed bag, right? You have some of the better names here like Grizz and I think Fahim particularly. But it is interesting to see kind of this is the best that England has to offer. They did pretty well last week. They beat the Philippines 2-0.
Impressive scores, and I'm more excited to see just how the team is functioning on a mechanical level alongside a cohesion level. So I feel like COD Mobile, the European region in itself, can produce some absolute gems, but at the same time, playing as a nation is a different ball game. And I'd like to see whether we see people that have not played together before at a high level kind of replicate that, as with Spain's lineup of Cuban, Moby, Datel, Chuso, and Skinny. I think this is going to be quite an exciting time, Brody.
Yeah, I mean, look, Spain, this is a really good roster, of course, just like we said last week when they played Romania. We'll talk about that here in just a second. This is more or less the special Suicide Squad severity roster that you will have seen in past Call of Duty Mobile competitions. Of course, with the added twist of kind of Datel also being in the mix there. So Spain is a really strong roster. However, last week, they did not show that strength, or at least they did kick off their matches. They absolutely ran through Romania, not once, but twice in map 1 and then map 2. But they actually lost that series 2-0 because they did a really stupid thing, which was they used a banned item, not entirely sure what it was. One player on the roster used a banned item in map number 1. They got map number 1 forfeited for it, and then they didn't change the freaking class going into map number 2. So what I don't want to see today, Connie, is I don't want to see us going into this matchup, and I don't want to see this banned item being in the class once again, and then not learn their lesson. Because if this happens, if they beat England and then actually lose to England because of it, I'm going to be really annoyed.
I mean, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me
Exactly.
applies here in this instance with Spain. But I must say, they have done a lesson now, and it has to be thankfully early on in the tournament. Imagine if this happened, let's say, in a semi-final or a grand final. How stupid would they look? But I can't blame them in that state of mind. If they smash them on map 1, they're not really paying attention so much to the class setup or what just happened. They're more or less reacting to, you know, the game at hand and how amazing they did. But again, oversight is such a good thing, because it's just the biggest emergency break you'll ever have to realization of, oh wait, we actually just threw away what could have been a great series for the most stupid reason. So I can't see it happening again.
Yeah, it would be really stupid to see that kind of thing happen again, and hopefully it does not happen tonight. With that said then, as has been the case with week number 1, the map set will be the same for every single day of action this week to try and keep things fair between each group. So just like yesterday, you're going to see the exact same map set as yesterday. And here that map set is. So we are going to start this best of 3, and again, a reminder folks, these are best of 3 matches in the group stage of the competition. Slums Hardpoint is what we're going to kick this map set off with. Standoff Search and Destroy when we go to map number 2, and if we need it, which is a big if, albeit we did get our first control yesterday, there will be a takeoff on the cards as well. A tantalizing prospect for this best of 3.
Absolutely, and in terms of the maps we have at hand, I mean, listen, they're all exciting. Black Ops 2 Classics is pretty much the menu for today's and tomorrow's series as well, Brody, to mention. So I can't really see... I feel like with, like, you know, set matches and set maps for a series, you have to perform at your highest, and if it's not in your veto pool, unlucky. I think that's sort of why the results are what they are early on. Instant 2-0s, pretty quick smashes and grabs. So just kind of get into the slums and see how the first hill goes. That is always like the short, positive approach to a very, very difficult best of 3.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, this is going to be an interesting one, because I think for the first week of action, at least, we kind of more or less knew how everything was going to go down, right? We had like an idea of just like, all right, cool. We kind of know that England are going to beat the Philippines, right? I don't want to be rude, but that kind of felt like we knew that was going to be the case. And we thought, obviously, that Spain were going to beat Romania, and technically speaking, again, they did, but they just got forfeited in those maps. This one, it kind of feels like we don't necessarily know. I've got a feeling, and I'm not just kind of trying to play reverse Uno here, the kind of reverse psychology, if you will, on we really want England to win because we were English casters, and so I'm going to say they're not going to win to try and get the reverse psychology card going. No, I genuinely feel like, because Spain is effectively severity, that they should win this series. But I still think there's an element of unknown here, where it's just like England have proven a really strong roster. You've got the likes of Grizz, you've got the likes of Fahim on the lineup. Like, it does feel like there's a lot up in the air here.
Absolutely, Brody. And international competition always brings out a different animal within players and within compositions. I mean, across any sport, you'll see certain individuals playing on a one-to-one basis might be okay, but when they get called up to a national team, all of a sudden they're Zeus. And we might set it with England or Spain here. Of course, Spain have pretty much assembled the entire severity roster, so yes, like you said, they are going to have that little extra edge, but England have the underdog mentality pretty much lined up for this entire set best of 3, and that can be a lot in international tournaments. I feel like, yeah, those are the two sort of head-to-heads in terms of mentality and approach, but again, the series is the series. Get stuck in the sums and see what happens.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we will see how map number 1 gets away just very soon. We're currently waiting on, I think it's Spain. I think Spain are torching time here, guys. We're 8 minutes past start time, and it's freaking Spain. All right, I want to let it be known, if I'm going to be biased at any point during tonight's broadcast, it's going to be calling players out who be turning up late to matches. I believe yesterday we had, I want to say it was Saudi Arabia that forfeited their first match because they just didn't show up. So yeah, that could happen here. Listen, Spain, I'm threatening you. All right, you've already forfeited one match. Don't forfeit a second because you didn't want to turn up. That would be not so hot, but it is potential here, so we'll kind of update you guys on what's happening. I wonder if we can throw it to a break while we wait for the players to actually get in the lobby. I want to call an audible. We can do that because I have all the power here, and I am the actual voice of God on this broadcast. With that said, God says that this is going to be a break, but God isn't actually real. Sorry for being controversial. We're going to go to a break. On the other side, we've got England versus Spain. See you there. Welcome back, everybody, here to the UCE Nations Cup. We promised you that we would not be long without some Call of Duty Mobile for you to watch, and we were not lying unless they restart the game. It's all good. We're all good. We're getting out of the game. It's England versus Spain. The winner of this one gives themselves a solid chance to get through the playoffs. Pretty much a guarantee given the group that they're in. This is a big match.
Absolutely. England in the blue, Spain in the yellow on the map for your reference, and we go straight to a P1. Set nades are going off from Spain as they get the first increment of time on the board. England have got a lovely positioning thanks to the respawns to control the north side of the map, but with Spain's positions, it can be an easy contest, a very split hill in P1, really thinking ahead now towards that second hill and where the spawn and fight for control will happen.
Yeah, I mean, just getting those P2 holds right now, I think, is everything for both teams, really. Just making sure you're spawning in towards that P2 side. Once the spawn out does come through for player number 4, that'll be Axis, who actually does manage to get the kill against Cuban, but not going to follow up with any more kills. So that would have been nice to try and lock down those P2 spawns. That's not a kill that's necessarily going to go England's way, but they're going to be able to win the 2v1 against Skinny towards the backline. And now that spawns here for England. So despite the fact that Spain, you know, they do technically start off on the better side of this map, Connie, they don't hold it.
Absolutely not. England have really posted up here on this P2. Despite the death in the backside there, they can still spawn on the exact same point and allow a submachine gun player to push up. We're on board with Daytel, who at least is coordinating an attack with Spain to try and get on the point. But, ew, the little sliver of life England have, they hold on well. They take the lead for the first time, and they're looking towards score streaks as well, Brody. Very good play thus far in the early stages for England.
England just looking the much better right now. One big one towards the backline. It's going to go Cuban's way. So now spawns will flip in Spain's favour. Also a couple of players through the front, but they are dealt with by England. So now England can turn their attention towards the backline here. Axis, not the best shots though, and that's going to be Daytel through, but only for a 1v1. So nothing really solid from either side just yet. And as I say that, kill's starting to come through. Skinny for the double. And those back spawns might still be through for England, but it is currently Spain accumulating time.
About to take the lead as it changes hands. 10-second scrap time, though, will be in England's favour. But look at Spain's positioning. Because of the two players in middle, they will have complete control of 2/3 of the map. And rotating towards new, they're going to have at least 10 seconds uncontested. Some set nades from England are coming off through blue. And they're not really making much of a dent into Spain's fortress. They've set up perfectly for a very punishing hold.
And now as we get towards the next hard point, this is where we're going to start to see some of those operators coming out to play. Not a lot going the way of Spain at the moment. It's tops down and not really much value to be found. Maybe Moby can have a better time with the War Machine. No, not a lot on that side. And now it's an operator dump coming out from England. A couple of kills now from Kirby with the War Machine. The DM amounts to really not that much, but it is now the Sparrow clearing out the back spawns as Axis follows up with another gunfight. And now that should be all the pieces in position here for England to start getting control over this hard point.
And Axis played it well, but Spain have cut across the middle of the map, and they have got the next 30 seconds locked down. They're throwing stuns as well through the isolating channels there, Brody. So England are pretty much nuked out. If Spain can hold this and just, you know, keep a pre-aim and a crossfire set up, it could be quite comfy, but England have retaken control, and the spawns are split. Look at this. Simply gorgeous, where Spain might get the backside here, and potential control. A big 1v1 for new goes England's way.
Still back and forth throughout of this game. One player hanging around the new hardpoint will be Cuban, and that one kill is good enough to spawn in another for Spain. So an opportunity here, a glint of hope, and it just kind of immediately goes dim, doesn't it, as England do get control once again, and now they are in control for this hardpoint. This is the big money kill. This is where teams can accumulate a lot of time if they manage to hold it through the front. Not a lot of operator value, I think, really for either a team in towards this hard point as well. We saw a big dump in towards the last hill, Connie, so I don't expect a lot to come in towards this one.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a pretty much a fortress here for England. They're going to cross the 100-point barrier. Spain are now starting to see the lead, or at least any sort of gap form, and it's petrifying. Look at the way in which they're grouping together now as a team. They're really, really scared to cross over to the open channels because of potentially getting picked off. Their pacing slowed down drastically, and England are just going to have at least the freest time soaking up all this time and having the comfy spawns to get players on a pinch. It's just Spain now having some big heroes to fill out these boots, Brody.
Yeah, big wave of gunfights there for Spain. They're looking to get this scrap time, but right now Spain kind of in a hole here at the end of the first set of rotation, just starting to feel a little bit out of depth. Let's go into a listen in with Spain to see how they handle a comeback in towards this game.
Uno en bricks, un brick.
Yo con cementerio y bricks.
Tenemos café.
Blue, loco, blue. Guayban. Bricks. Bricks, hay uno.
Wey, Briggs, cabrón, 2.
No, ahí está el otro.
Oh, dos, Briggs,
Muerto.
Ey, la cara.
No, otro más, loco, 2 más. Uno blue.
Bro, uno blue pushando escopeta. Double this, coffee.
Escopeta. Tengo pedos. No más puntos.
All right, well, Spain, I honestly, mate, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I have no idea what was just said because I speak only English and bullshit. But Spain currently still down in this game. And look, they're not in a worse position right now. You're 15 seconds left. You've got to play it through. And Cuban's actually going to win that gunfight. So there is still hope here for Spain. But Cuban's got a lot more work to do on this rotation.
I mean, that was kind of an important gunfight, at least to gain control. A big win there for Spain in the back line. They've got 2 players now up and ready for the new hill. But really, to revisit what could be a crucial moment here, England have got this lovely 70-point cushion. And Spain, in the comms we just heard, Brody, the urgency was switching on and off. It kind of happens when you're in this scoreboard predicament. You want to start fighting, you want to start pressing, but two deaths happen. And oh, well, our plan just failed. What next? It's constantly ebbing and flowing between what's the right call and what's not the right call. The system needs to be trusted, and England have really taken up a nice 15 here.
Yeah, now you're starting to be in a real troublesome position, aren't you? Because England are getting a lot more efficient with their operators. You're starting to see more kills coming out. Voila, showing it right now. I don't even know which player. I'm going to go ahead and assume this is one of the players. I swear to God, these players can start playing under the proper names, because right now I'm just calling Voila. This is actually not probably a player called Voila, but England, off the back of all those operators, now starting to piece up. Vuitton looking for more, and he's not going to find it. Skinny will double up back at you, but the end result is still the same. England in control for the back 15 seconds here. Spain, they are spinning their wheels with 10 seconds left, and now the spawn flick comes through as well. This is worst case scenario for the Spaniards.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, the scrap time here is just a real massive indictment on their playstyle for this map. It's just all wrong. They need to get initial, they need to start holding properly. I mean, the rotations have been class for a couple of instances, Brody, on the P2, P3, but England are just winning. They're muscling every single gunfight in their favor, and the confidence is building rapidly. Look at the spawns as well, right next door to each other, but England are starting to get flanked a little bit by Spain here. But the pacing of this and the 4 flashes thrown could be a nice take and a hold, but these, again, are just splitting the spawns up for England, where Spain needs to constantly adjust and find the gunfights, but they have no intel, Brody. And Greers just smashes the hard point. 35 seconds left to be eaten.
And even that is just a gunfight you can't really afford to lose, right? Grizz just splits the difference between a couple of players, offers a distraction up while the rest of his team make their way through, and the last remaining player inside the hard point finds themselves overwhelmed. Spain, the hole, just keeps on getting bigger, doesn't it, in this game? Grizz now looking for more kills, equals out towards the back line. Yet another investment. Moby actually slides through towards the hard point, finds a couple of kills here through the smokers, looking for number 3. He'll put the shots in, but Razor will be the guy to put the player down. Spain trying to hold on in this game, but England will not let it happen. There's an EMP in the back pocket for whichever player is playing on Vuitton, and they are 20 seconds away from victory.
Simply gorgeous. England have eaten every single possible piece of time they can find. Spain have to be pretty much perfect from here on out, Brody. And they've got control of the new hill, but 3 nades flying across the map for England to try and contest. And Spain with an excellent hold on the first wave. But the war machine from Kirby can cause a massive stir.
It's not going to do that much in the grand scheme of things, though. Spain still in control. England looming around the backline. Grizz wanting to get in the mix. Straight in with the HSO. He goes. Good for a 1. That should open the door. Daytel will fire back to his zone, but access around the front has just cleared house. Split spawns. Now through for Spain. One last hurrah to get towards the hard point, and Razor will invest the equals to do so, but it's going to amount to absolutely nothing. Only 1 kill. A couple of kills coming through from Cuban. Now more for Cuban. 4 with a Sparrow. Spain, they refuse to go down.
Oh, they are really bunkered up, Brady. Look at the dots. They're all right next to each other, holding hands. England are really fanning out and it's not paying off well. It's 2 barrels to 1 for every gunfight Spain have engaged in. A rotation battle as well in the southeast side of the map has caused Spain's spawns to move outward a little bit. And look at the middle portion here for England. It's back to P1. Stuns are flying, and they've predicted everything well in terms of the pressure.
Yeah, just a few more seconds to go here. England should get it done. Splits coming through from Spain. Can anybody touch in time? Not really a lot to say about this, is it, Spain? You can't do anything. England will silence you at the end of game number 1, as they will pretty much dominate that first game.
Absolutely, a very convincing hard point there from England. And at one point in time as well, 231 to 97 points. They controlled the entire middle of the map. It was nuts just to see how they were chaining hills together. I mean, Spain were winning rotations, Brady, don't get me wrong, but they were getting shoved off them like they were nothing. So it was a really beautiful performance to watch. 34 plus kills across the board for England. I mean, Vuitton is going to be at least the highest impact player, nearly 2 minutes in the hill, 38 kills to add to that as well. I mean, everyone's putting in a shift.
Yeah, I mean, just look at everybody across the board, as you said, from England. Again, I got to know which players are playing on Vuitton and Voila, whoever it is. I want to have a word with you. Play under your proper names, you idiots. But with that said, yeah, someone needs to tell me. You know, almost 40 kills between 3 or 4 players there in England. It's one of those situations very often as casters will say, all right, is this like a team performance, or is it 1 or 2 individuals really stepping up and going above and beyond? No, that is just a team performance from England. Everybody stepping up and showing Spain what for. How about that for a turn up for the books? Not only did England beat Spain in Slum's hardpoint, they do it in indomitable fashion. And that really does kind of turn our expectations upside down for the search and destroy, because that really does feel like Spain should be able to beat this England roster. Right now, Connie, doesn't look like it.
I know, Spain are pretty much severity, the entire lineup's there. But England are kind of just, you know, stuck together, glued together for this one event, and they're hitting final form, it feels like. I mean, hey, it's only a hard point. It's only the first map of the series. And the S&D, again, kind of shows a team's chemistry and depth. That's where I think Spain might have a chance to reinvitalize and especially just, you know, run with stuff that England have no idea what's going on. They're a longer-lasting team. But I am definitely going to have to go more on the side of, like you said, England probably could go 2-0 here. The momentum's on their side. They're carrying a lot of energy. But, yeah, it's going to be an intense standoff, search and destroy for map number 2.
Yeah, it is going to be really interesting. Let's bring up that best of 3 maps then to show you guys what is up next. Obviously, we already kind of mentioned it there. Search and Destroy is up next, as is always the case for the second map in this best of 3, and it is going to be Standoff. This is an interesting one. I think Standoff, obviously, funnily enough, actually, for all you kind of multi-Call of Duty fans out there, it's going to be joining Black Ops 7 very soon, so I can't wait to play more Standoff in the mainline franchise. But, yeah, a Standoff, really fun one, obviously. Just to kind of with Search and Destroy across the board, this is where snipers really come out to play, right? This is where that Tundra meta really starts to kind of set in just a little bit here in S&D.
Oh, it's always been the case of every iteration we've had Standoff. You know, you can snipe from 3 power positions. The rotations are fast on this map. But having the ability to sniper watch your flank and Standoff being a map where it's so condensed, you only need to look really 2 or 3 angles to cover the entire map with that gun. You can see why you don't want them out of your team, or at least eliminated in a first blood instance. They're just going to have so much coverage and intel and comms to give submachine gun players to move forward, the shotgun players to move forward, the objective player to plant the bomb. It works well. I've also just spotted Brody as well. We've been leaked for the player names. So Vuitton is Fahim and Voila is Mute. There.
Okay, listen.
Fahim and Mute.
Fahim and Mute. Okay. Now, I like Fahim quite a lot. We get on, all right? Right now, I don't like you, okay? How many times have we said, stop playing? I think Fahim was the player last season that was doing it as well. Stop playing under a different name. Actually, that might have been Inferno. I think it might have been Inferno that was doing it. Stop doing it, okay? It's freaking annoying having to sit there and go, oh, which player is playing under Louis Vuitton for this game? They think they've got designer clothes. Stop it. It's not fun. It's not fun for the viewer. It's not fun for us sitting here on the casting desk to try and figure out which player you're not enigmatic, okay? You just play under your name and stop making everyone's life difficult. Okay, now we've got that aside. Mate, honestly, this season of UCE, I've gone off on so many different rants. This is a new one right here. Stop changing names. Anyway, Standoff Search and Destroy. Coming up next, will it be a 2-0 to Team England, or will Spain fight back and get us our second control of the week? It's a big, big game here of Search and Destroy. Let's see if Spain can bounce back.
Spain are planting for the first round. England throws set nades north, Spain throw them south, and again, pressure's met for both sides. Spain have spent the whole utility belt, and England have saved a couple pieces. Grizz has pushed forward fast, drawn the first blood, and Spain immediately reacting to the map and the situation at hand. Wow, okay, 5v3 straight away.
England already with number advantage. Oh my goodness, Cuban gets beat by Fahim. So now down to a 2 versus 4 here. Skinny and Daytel, of course, the latter of which doesn't really have the best weapon for this situation. And these players are also split up as well. And there goes Skinny. So Daytel, have fun with this one, buddy. The HSO, it can do a lot. It has a bit of a nasty range, but I don't think a 1v4 is necessarily on the cards.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, Daytel could have a chance. Maybe not, Brady. I mean, with a minute in hand here, and the pathing that England have set up to try and trap Daytel when he gets towards bomb, it's kind of nuts. They have to try and maybe push out one by one for a chance for Daytel. But no, never mind. Beautifully coordinated 1-2 from England to close out the final kill. I must say, in terms of expectations, England pressured early on. We saw Spain throw loads of utility out early, didn't connect on England, and Grizz is pushed out of gas station, got the first blood. Team pushed out further, got the second. It was an instant 5v3. Again with this round, though, some set pieces are thrown towards B. A flashbang and 3 nades, but Spain this time around are watching for the push. England cannot use the same strategy again into gas station. They are now kind of pinned here around the B site.
And already lost that first blood. Peeking too wide as Razor through the back alley, and he'll almost immediately regret he's done that. So England, now a man advantage. Spain not so much on the hole this time around. I was wondering what Grizz is using. It's the M4 LMG. Interesting. Going to pick up the first blood with that earlier on. Elsewhere, Fahim is going to take Cuban down. And now, once again, Spain left kind of lacking in map control. All they have is everything in the middle of the map. Taking Grizz down will make things easier. But as soon as you lose the player that you're with, it all just kind of falls apart. Now that mid-map pressure you had, it's gone all right. And once again, it is another player in a 1v4. At least Skinny has the bomb to work with.
Still a difficult position to actually convert anything from. Skinny has to hope that England make crucial mistakes and start committing numbers towards his position, because he's got a lovely angle here just to farm. But oh, they're starting to pinch already. Kirby, Fahim are really playing with their food here, and Skinny can spot another one up top. Okay, interesting. 40 seconds left, 1v2. Pushing towards mid's questionable. But listen, Axie finds the conversion. Risky and very dicey for England. It was a 4v1, nearly a 2v1 in conversion. But they get the second round on the board, and it's the same patterns again, Brody. England are... They're holding man advantage. They're getting the first blood, they're converting numbers, and they're controlling the map in a very good fashion. And listen, this could be 4-0 quick.
It does definitely feel like England is much better right now at converting the first bloods into actually something worth saying. I mean, it's only been a couple of rounds. Maybe Spain can change tack somewhat. It feels like an aggressive start to this round. 3-for-1 trade over by the A site, and now even worse, Spain have to deal with something they haven't had to deal with in the last couple of rounds. That bomb is down. Their only real hope is potential flanking play from Skinny. Shot's not that great. Fahim's going to punish, and now it's time for Moby to be left up in a 1v4. Can he be more successful? Good for the first. That's going to provide some space, and England are challenging 1 by 1. Moby, there's a chance.
A small chance of that, Brody. He has to wrap carefully now. But listen, the time's on board. The bomb is down. I mean, that's England's only real saving grace. Try and force Moby to be really up close, because you can still pick him apart and get a 1v1 if he plays his cards right and finds the right angle.
This would be for the 1v4. Time, of course. 2-minute search and destroy rounds here in Call of Duty Mobile. You've got a wealth of it to work with. Oh, he really needed to hit that shot on towards Fahim. Now they have the information as to where he's gone. Going for the egregious reach out through the map. I know he said that he had a minute, but that time is now starting to tick down here. Moby, the options starting to slip through his fingers. He's actually just wiped out another player from the middle of the map. Here goes Axis. Now it's down to 1 versus 1 from a 1 versus 4. He knows generally where Fahim has been. Oh, Moby for the 1v4. That's a piss take.
That was nuts, Brody. Wow! And the way it was structured as well, it wasn't like everyone rushed towards him. He was so careful in placing those kills. But the quickscope at the end, the cherry on top of the Z1v4. And what were England thinking? It's the same set nades again towards A to try and recuperate the last round. And look at Spain now. The confidence is showing fast. Pushing in towards close quarters. 3 kills in the feed. England have been slammed here in the connector.
Wow, I mean, it's just what a complete change of pace here, right? Spain, they take that kill, the 1 versus 4 from Moby, one of the best plays that we've had so far this season of UCE, and they have completely converted it into momentum. Now down to a 1v3, this time for Axis on the other side, who has had a pretty good game of Search and Destroy so far. 6 kills for his name. The prize fighters asking a little bit much for him there in that 1 versus 1 inside round against Cuban. So yeah, I mean, just a solid game plan, right, for Spain. They get that 1v4, they almost immediately follow it up with momentum.
Exactly, and that's 2 rounds back. And England now are on the back foot. It's funny how momentum works in standoff. It's really powerful, especially across COD Mobile. But looking at the break-off here for Spain, they now pivot away from A towards B and to try and get England to overcommit, and that's what they've done exactly. They realize A is completely for the taking. They then call towards Kirby, who's the closest towards the connector, to get any audio cues, any sound. Well, listen, who's actually spent all the utility? England now got to answer a lot of questions. Axie gets their first blood drawn. An overextension gone wrong, and it's a 5v3 where England again have man advantage.
Spain's really only hope here is that they can, I was going to say, keep Cuban alive inside Delhi, but as he falls, now Spain are in that very familiar position that they were back in the first couple of rounds here, right? Where it's just like, what do you do? Because you've lost the first bloods. You have to kind of separate yourselves out to make this possible. Oh, your Moby can just explode! I didn't for a second think that he was going to collect a couple of players. And now this felt unfeasible. All of a sudden, it is within reach. All they have to do is get another egregious double. And I tell you what, Kirby and Voila are itching for it.
Probably going to hit it, Brody. Given the rate of this match and what we've seen so far, momentum's definitely on their side. And they got the skill to pay the bills. My word, Spain come back from 2-0 down to bring 2 forward, and they've had highlights every single round. Moby again, escalating a little bit. The pressure on England's building. You have to look towards Mute, who's the last one alive. In a 1v2, outgunned, boxed in from both angles, and can't respond in the end. Moby gets the pinch, and they're taking the lead. Fair play to Moby. He's really coordinated what seems to be an insurgence for Spain here. If he starts to slow down, we might see a change in play.
I just don't understand how we're letting Moby have freebies like this. It feels like he's getting... He's got a McDonald's, he's got his Monopoly stickers, he's got 3 apple pies. I don't understand
Happy
how
toy
Moby's
as well.
My guy he's absolutely shredding everyone at the moment. First blood, once again, goes England way. But I don't think that means anything. Moby finally down for the count. Maybe this is a round for England.
Oh, Spain are really kind of spliced up here. Bombed up to mid, 4 players in control. Grizz has made the call out. Yeah, just down to Cuban to try and find the another heroic feat, but Grizz is not letting that happen again this time around. The player was excavated from England. 3v1, aggressive. That's the change, I think. England were very lackluster in the 1v4 where they were just very passive. They sent 2 players in to deal with Moby, but Moby just, you know, bunched up 2 players at a time and got that conversion. England now are starting to back together and apply pressure. 3 is the score. Nades though heavily in towards England's back pocket. Trophies down to counter, and it's going to be another hit towards A. But look at the pinch from Grizz. Again, trying to be proactive and make some beautiful plays.
Really, it does just feel kind of like you just take Moby down. This is possible. They tell in this round through the middle of the map. Again, that momentum, that confidence starting to really shine through for Spain. But yeah, that's a long-range shot for the SMG. I know we're kind of excited for the VMP, but it is no USS-9. It can't do things like that. And all of a sudden, Axis down to earth. 1v3. Moby's still alive, so it feels like this might not be plausible.
Sniper down.
Well, actually, a lovely entry. Spots a turning player from Spain, and it just now makes it a bit more of a challenge to even get some sort of conversion here. Bomb's so far away, being watched carefully by Ray. And I can just see Spain now just playing with their food a little bit here. There's not really a massive play call to make. And Axie has to be ultra aggressive to try and convert this into a 1v1. But in this spot here, again, can't put your gun away. It's a high traffic area. And we all know for a fact that, you know, you regret the moments where you were sprinting with your gun off. And that's just the case there again, where Spain had the advantage in place and just had to peek, had to bot walk pretty much, Brody. Now England in a crucial 3-4 round differential. This is where I think the swing starts to happen.
Back on the offense for the second go of things. It's going to be an aggressive hit out of them, and trades galore. Moby gets the better of Axis. Now a 2-for-2 trade here as we go 3 versus 3. England will take that, though. They have site control, and you kind of need that kill against Daytel. You cannot let that one go answered, Kirby. You have to pick up the kill, and that is exactly what happens. Down to a 2v2 we go now.
Oh, defending though at this point. And Kirby has pushed away the sniper rifle. Ideally needs an angle on bomb. If there's a smoke in hand here, hey, might work. Even a flashbang too. Just any sort of room to give time and space. But no, Skinny, head glitch in bomb, has got the patience to try and get the kill, but wow, my word. Fahim has slipped away from that one, drawn him away. 13 seconds left on the board. But look who's waiting there, Kirby with the sniper rifle. And that's all she wrote. A lovely finish.
Yeah, it's really smart there from Kirby, just keeping an eye out from the optic van, as it were, under that van. And yeah, I mean, just good play on the whole from Fahim, right? I mean, just getting that kill and getting the hell out of dodge, making the wraparound. You waste about 10 seconds off the clock and makes it kind of unfeasible to win that 1v1 given the position of Kirby, because obviously he has eyes on the bomb. You can't take him out of the position. So Big play out of Hakim in that round, despite the fact that he's got his name incorrect for us here on the broadcast. Now back to 5v5, so we hit the reset here at 4-4. 20 seconds already off the clock. England have actually managed to garner control of the bomb site this time, despite not exhausting a single player. Bomb already down. And now as you turn the corner, a lot of shots going out here from Spain, and it feels really not like a lot of consequence going on at the moment. Razor needs to swing around the corner, and Grizz is there waiting with the HSO. That is a difficult player to surpass. Grizz is actually just going away. He's going straight on the HSO. He's after Moby to the machine pistol to close the round. Grizz impatient as ever, and that time it pays off.
Crikey. I mean, fair play. Both teams in that instance wanted to get a conversion. First time actually Brady has seen a bomb planted with all players alive. So I must say, Grizz's sudden pocket to find the aggression and timing, Spain completely crumbled. They had no real idea where the pressure was going to be and that Grizz was the sole proprietor. But looking now at the opener here, smoke thrown towards mid. It cuts England through to the back line, but Spain have stacked players there already, and they are funneling through nicely. A 4-4 is the remaining number on the map for either team. The route from Skinny, though, is starting to cause problems for England. That bomb has dropped towards B, and England are split up, whereas Spain have got an overload on the north side of the map. Wow, fair play to Mute. He's trying to get something worked and trying to convert a beautiful showing. But again, it's not enough. Cuban finds it to make it an advantage.
Yeah, 1v2 now for Kirby. I'm not too sure what the Spain know about the fact that the bomb is down. I don't think that they do. The way that they're playing at this point in time, Kirby...
They're trying to find it for sure.
Yeah,
but it's just not going to be a case where they're going to have it. They're just going to try and hunt for Kirby in this really awkward timing.
Kirby is actually exhausting a lot of time with the clock as well. He has to try and check every single corner and crevice for where these players might potentially be. He has no idea that they don't know the bomb is down. It's a confusing prospect, but there's a lot of information that isn't necessarily known from either side at the moment. That shot from Kirby, of course, silenced. They won't necessarily know exactly where it's coming from, and they are going to stick to their guns as well. Kirby going to get that bomb, and he is still going on the run. He's going to run straight past the players. They should be watching the angle. Kirby should be dead to rights. No, shot actually out from Cuban here. Kirby survives it. And he's going to try and get the rock down. Surely Kirby's dead on the exit. There's no way Kirby gets away from this. Oh my god! Kirby peeks and brings this down to a 1 versus 1. Kirby has a sniper rifle ready to go. Stun check goes wide. He did not get tagged by the stun. Nade out. Player jumps straight on with the fuse here. And it's not planted for where Kirby's gone. The nade's only going to connect for a hit marker. Kirby runs away. And his bluff will be called.
My word. Unfortunate. But at the same time, fair play to Spain for sticking to the fuse. It was only really going to be a matter of the case of, are you going to die to the grenade to decide that round? But no, Kirby was way too far away to find any sort of room. Not planted. Difficult. But hey, let's just throw 6 nades to mid-map. See if we can get any form of first blood drawn. That's not going to be the case. Now England revert towards north of the map through the deli, and it's going to be a beautiful pinch. But hey, Spain still controlling for now. Have a player on A2.
Bomb down. 40 seconds on the clock. Mute goes down. A couple of kills here in the feed for Spain on the retake. Everybody down, but Axis, do they know where he is? Now they most certainly do. He's revealed his position, and the full force of Spain will be coming down upon them. They've got on the defuse, surely. You got to feel like it. Cuban is there. No, Cuban jumps off the defuse here. Axis a chance. Beams Cuban. 1v1. HSO looks in the wrong direction, and Skinny will reduce him to dust. Spain take the round, but God, they made that closer than it needed to be.
Oh, absolutely, and Skinny's thankful for that. Not out of the woods yet. 5-6. We need to go to 7 for a conversion. So, although Spain are on match point, I can see England pulling off some sort of blind counter, maybe to cause a nuisance. There hasn't been much of a deviation towards their open A, their open B. But looking at where the nades are flying this time around, they want to convert heavy on A. And look at Spain's push. They're trying to convert at least now pressure through gas. Kirby's there, the sniper rifle, just for intel, not to find a kill. And it's similar to what we saw in round number 9. Grizz, shotgun, close range, they tell, converts 2 extra. And this now is a 3v3, but on A.
Kirby down, reduced to a smither of HP. So that's to keep that angle as well. He can't back out. He has to hold that angle. Cannot let Cuban push through here, and it doesn't make a difference. Kirby goes down regardless, and now again it's Axis left up in the 1v3. Good for the first. Switches on to the second. Oh, shot's not tasty. Moby takes him out. And that's going to be all she wrote for this search and destroy, folks. Spain, they take it home. 7-5 S&D. We're going to the control.
Oh, fair play. Spain, not going out without a fight. We're going to be going to a takeoff control, map number 3. And what a more poetic way to have a best of 3. The 2 top teams in their group. It's just, yeah, where we expected to go, but the journey to get there, Brody, was definitely not what we had on the cards. A heavy hard point for England, a convincing search and destroy for Spain, despite facing a bunch of pressure and question marks throughout the map. It's just simply put, Moby's time to shine.
Yeah, Moby most certainly kicked off the revolution there for Spain, didn't he? 14-7 is how he will close out that game. I want to say he got like 9 or 10 kills through the first half of that search and destroy. He was pivotal to bringing that game back. I think, you know, not only just with the kind of phenomenal, I think it was like round 3, I want to say it was, where he got that 1 versus 4, but then followed that up by, I think it was, I want to say it was like a 2v5 or a 3v5, something like that in the following round when Moby managed to get a crucial double. Stuff like that really does make the difference in key close matchups of Call of Duty Mobile like this one. Moby obviously didn't do it alone, but most certainly I think did kind of lead the resurgence there for Team Spain. Honestly, I want to say I think England just crumbled as well. Like the responses that we saw from England were just kind of poor, if we're being perfectly honest about it. Like we definitely could have seen a lot better response from England instead of just kind of full hit something and hope for the best. The depth of strategy not really there for England. I think as soon as they lost the first couple of rounds.
Exactly. They didn't really have much to run with in the standoff, whereas Spain answered the big 3 questions in the opening rounds of, can we finally meet pressure? Can we actually execute the gun skill? And Moby himself figured out where the timings and placements needed to be. In a 1v4 where you look at England and where they were pushing, they were sending 2 packs of 2 in to take down a sniper rifle. It's just free pickings for a player of Moby's caliber, let's be honest here. We look towards now a control, but also in England's state of mind. Grizz, who has been turning up consistent for the last 2 maps, even in the search and destroy as well. Round number 7 with the shotgun after a 5v5 post plant, just ran down 4 players and finished with a machine pistol. He definitely has slaying power and the ability to just, you know, shut a map off if he need be done. Gonna go into control though, and takeoff is a different story.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, I think, to see how this takeoff control goes. Of course, control has kind of changed significantly over the course of the last year in Call of Duty Mobile with the I don't want to say new spawns anymore because they aren't new spawns at this point, but, you know, since we had that massive spawn change into takeoff control, or just control in general, especially crossfire, you know, things have kind of changed. The meta, the way that you play control has changed from control at first was just spawn trap as much as going to be possible, and albeit there's an element of that in the game still, it isn't quite as prevalent as it once was. There does feel like there's a little bit more depth into control than previously. You really do have to get your operators on point, and that's especially true, you know, considering Overclock got banned recently, right? That's of course the perk that allows you to basically earn your operator at a much faster rate than you normally would. That's kind of allowed a lot of play around War Machine at the start of the rounds, and you can do that, but it isn't quite as regular. So all of that to say, there's a lot more kind of depth of gameplay now, variety of gameplay in Control than there has been previously. I think it's gotten a lot more interesting over the last couple of maps.
Absolutely, especially from my iterations of watching COD Mobile and seeing the different metas change and regions being introduced. It's just nice to see that what works, but it's only gotten better. It has only really just sort of been refined that little bit extra. The polish has been at least there for what we've seen so far in today's series, Brody. It is just a case now of what really can be elaborated further upon, but also maybe the basics are actually pretty good in itself. I'm just more or less excited to see how we chop and change as the weeks go on, because similar to last year, expectations were met, but also surprises were to be had. And then international competition, same story, just times 100. Where you really have no idea, no scouting talent on certain teams, certain countries. They show up. Same story for Africa as well. When I was working there a couple of years ago too, it's just a case of, okay, there's a bunch of new people on the lineup, some familiar faces, some new ones. It's just going to be a very interesting kind of dynamic that we get to explore, at least for a set period of time.
Yeah, I think, you know, look, we're always looking at new talent to come in for Europe and Africa, right? Obviously competing in this tournament. Obviously, we've also got the Middle East competing in this tournament, Saudi Arabia, who unfortunately did end up forfeiting last night. But still, you know, it's always interesting seeing a lot of new talent coming in, I think, across the board. One thing I will say is, you know, if we're asking the question about how much has it actually generally performed, or how much has it increased the performance, of Europe and Africa on the global stage, like we saw champs, right? I mean, Europe just didn't do that well. Ultimately, they did extremely well on hardpoint, but then kind of shit the bed a little bit in search and destroy and control. So Europe is still kind of in the dumps for what it's worth. I think if they wanted to make the case that they deserve more than one spot, that they didn't deserve to have their spots reduced, it should have been North America or LATAM. I don't think they made that case very strongly at champs for sure. We're probably going to have another year where it's just going to be one team from Europe, and it's going to be a lot of kind of competitiveness, I think, for that one spot. What that will actually mean for all the new players, the new talent coming through, given the fact that there's such little hope to actually make it to the global stage for 2026, I don't know. But it is kind of interesting to see kind of that, I guess, element of how are Europe doing comparatively to the rest of the world. Still kind of a conversation point moving forward for sure. Right now, I believe we're currently waiting for match number 3 to get underway. So I'm going to quickly call for a break here. I'm going to do an illegal. I'm going to call for a break because we are currently waiting for players, I believe. We're all good. I've got the green light, guys. We're going to go to breaks. Get your cups of tea, get your biscuits, get your, I don't even know what you want to have. I don't know, donuts. Get something. We're going to be back with control very soon. They've only gone and done it again. It's a joke at this point, isn't it, Spain? You freaking idiots. All right, Connie, what's happened? Walk us through it. Spain are done.
Well, after the conversation of Spain having to forfeit because of bad attachments, they only go and do it again. Search and destroy. Maybe he was using a bad attachment on the sniper rifle to confirm. Which means England win 2-0. Although in terms of cleanliness and tidiness of the series, would love to have seen the control, but unfortunately it's an automatic DQ. So England get the map despite losing 5-7. Although the hard point in itself was a story to tell, it's just Spain again. Unfortunately, despite us thinking, you know, the best for Spain and it's not going to happen again, they've only gone and done it. Oh, yeah, the world's in bits. Everything's in bits here, Brody.
Yep. All right, so that's basically it. Yeah, shout out to Moby again because he was the player that DQ got Spain DQ'd not once but twice last week, and he's done it again this time with a sniper rifle. Stop using man attachment, Moby, you freaking idiot. With that said, Spain done 2-0 in this series, despite the fact that they won the Search and Destroy. That's 3 maps cumulatively this season of UCE that they've won, but actually lost because of Moby. With that said, Spain 2-0 down. England take the first series of the night. Next up, we have Romania versus Philippines, the battle of the kind of losers, considering Romania technically won last match. We're going to have that after this break. Don't go far, folks. We're going to have more UCE Nations Cup action very soon. Yeah, no, I'm not muted. But don't worry about it. Nothing happened. Welcome back, everybody, to the UCE Nations Cup 2025. That's totally not a regular thing that I do all the time. We're here with our second match of the day. We just had an eventful break in which we learned that Spain didn't learn anything from their first matchup against Romania, in which they lost 2-0. They actually won 2-0, but then they lost 2-0 because Moby broke the rules not once but twice consecutively, despite being forfeited the first time around. I didn't learn anything going into the next matchup because then he used a banned item on his sniper rifle, so he lost the search and destroy, which they actually won versus England, and they would have forced to control, but they actually lost 2-0 because they're idiots and they use banned items. With that said, let's jump into our second match of the night. The Philippines going head-to-head with Romania. Of course, Romania, technically speaking, a 1-0 record right now because of the fact that Spain forfeited their series against them. Let's start the conversation with Romania.
Absolutely, Brody. And all we know so far is that, technically, they are not in top form. They are technically 1-0 without actually being in top form. The Philippines, though, in terms of their experience, they're in the same level here. We've got Pops, Blab, Sadie, Cookie, and Lemao. If I'm saying that correct, you can say it now. I'm not, let me know. I feel like this team, again, is quite... Well, actually, I don't know a lot about it, Brody, to be fair. I actually know a few instances where maybe they can do well, maybe they can't do well, but I feel like that's what the joy of this tournament is actually going to be about. Philippines, though, Shenshei, Nel, Sanic, Sachi, and Janos, they're going to be the opponents today.
Yep, 100%. Now, just an update here from Ops in regard to this matchup. We'll talk about the Philippines here in just a second. I believe if the Philippines win this match 2-0, they officially qualify because of the fact that Spain has not only forfeited that last match, they've actually forfeited the entire tournament. So they have also lost 2-0 officially to the Philippines. So that basically means the winner of this matchup, I believe, pretty much guarantees their place, considering Romania already has a victory. I think it would mean that they would already win, and the Philippines would basically be done at just 1 and 2. I don't know the exact records, but I think it basically means that the winner of this matchup, because Spain have automatically forfeited their last game of the tournament, they get the auto dub into playoffs. So this is actually a pretty big matchup here, Connie.
It actually is. It's turned from a matchup that originally was, it's just, bottom of the table to get back into the swing of things to, this is a qualification match for playoffs. All right, yeah, we take that. That's a nice little win. All the expense of Spain. I think it's more of a frustrating thing, though, to see that Spain, clearly one of the best teams here in the tournament, just cannot put a gun together correctly.
Evidently not. They're just they're silly billies.
So.
Silly billies. All right, with that said, unless you've got short-term memory loss, you probably already know this, but let's give you guys the map set for this best of 3. Of course, it is Slums. It's standoff, search and destroy, and it's take off control, Connie. God, we've never seen this before.
Nope, definitely. Brand new maps, brand new people, brand new places. No, it's the same copy-paste that we're going to have tomorrow as well. And in terms of expectations, just get in there and see what happens. You've got set fixtures, set matches, your vetoes, they better be there. You can't pick and choose. You have to take what you're given in this best of 3 format early on. So just get in there, enjoy yourself, and listen, if you're not good, we'll find out quickly.
Yeah, we will absolutely find it quickly. It does feel like, in the same way that we didn't really know that much about how England versus Spain was going to go, we almost kind of don't know how this is going to go, right? There's kind of an element of unknown here just because of the fact that, we had Romania obviously technically lose 2-0 last week, but then they actually won 2-0. Both of these teams effectively got steamrolled in their first couple of games of the tournament. So, we don't really know what the strengths and the weaknesses of these kind of respective rosters are. All we really know is that this is a really important matchup. So I'm really excited to see what these guys look like when they're not playing Titanic teams like England and Spain. Obviously, asterisk on that one now. I'm excited to see what the Philippines and Romania have for us here. So we're just waiting to get into the first match of this best of 3. A reminder, folks, that the winner of this match will be making it to playoffs. I believe that England, with their earlier win over Spain, have basically guaranteed a place now. So now it's just basically who is going to join them, more or less. Obviously, England, maybe technically speaking, if they lost next week, I don't know. Someone in production could tell me whether or not England have already qualified. I'm pretty sure that they have. But still, this is a big match between these two teams. Can't wait to see who goes on. Also worth saying, if you didn't know, by the way, this is Group B here of the group stage of the competition. There is 3 other days of action every single week. Of course, day number 1 was yesterday, and that was going over to Group A. And while we won't have a broadcast tomorrow night for UCE, we will have one over on Thursday and Friday. Con, I believe you're on for Thursday as well with Narski.
That's
you guys,
correct.
Great duo together. Really excited to see what you guys are going to be up to. You guys get to look at Group C, so that's going to be fun. Obviously, keep an eye out for this YouTube channel over here at Atlas if you want to keep an eye on any of the content. With that said, It is going to be Romania versus the Philippines. We've had the admin confirm it. The winner of this match goes through no matter what. Let's see who it's going to be. I'm excited. I'm excited to see one of these teams get it done.
Oh, wow. A clatter of nades thrown across the hard point. And again, the first one to touch is going to be Romania. Lamau opening up proceedings here on the board. And the Philippines, again, are trying to flank around the backside, pinch Romania, as they are all boxed in towards the hard point. First and second will go their way. On the respawns, though, more nades are flying into the center.
Philippines with a bunch of kills in their favor here. Romania now going to be spawning us towards that blue side. They're going to try and kind of split their efforts here, not just between pushing it towards P1, but also trying to break those P2 spawns early on. And, well, the former of those two things definitely goes awry as Nell and Sanic will combine for 3, but they do get one player in that should be influencing the spawns sooner rather than later. Right now, it's not going that well. Blab is not really doing anything.
Absolutely. Having a real confusing moment there for the team. But at least, though, in this instance, we are seeing the first, well, few glimmers here on the new hill. 1v1 for brand new time. Janus wins it. Spawns now fully in the Philippines' favor. And they really soaked up 41 seconds on the P1 here, Brody. They've already crossed 100 points here. The setup is nailed on the P2. The first wave for Romania comes across the midline here. Sanic, though, in supporting tandem, will try and close any lanes that Romania can exploit. And Philippines are having a massive push to control this P2, get a gap formed, and the spawn still in favor.
Yeah, Romania right now just trying to butt heads into the hard point, of course. Nobody up top to cut them off at the source here. So Philippines now going to have to invest their operators to try and put a stop to this one. It is going to be Sanic who has the EMP in the back pocket, now continuing to burn through everybody with the Sparrow. More and more time starting to snowball in the Philippines' favor. Romania, try as they may, cannot crack this egg that is the P2 hardpoint. And now they're going to follow up the investment of the Sparrow with the investment of the War Machine. Excuse me, coming out from Janos, who is on a 5 spree. Now this is not a good position for Romania to be in, because not only do they lose that time here, Connie, but now they're flipping out spawns. They're spawning in towards the old hardpoint.
Exactly. I feel like Romania in this instance as well. I'm not understanding the push. Janos is still keeping pressure, but look at Romania's slip through the north side of the map. It's going to be pretty much a 4v3 for new. Romania can close P3 early unless Philippines can rotate fast towards this new spawn. Yeah, Romania, as we expected, they've got spawns outside of brand new. Streaks are being used from Philippines to try and alleviate the pressure. Now, though, with the Tempest in hand, is again trying to close this diagonal. But it's just simply put, Romania here allowing lots of freedom here to get players on and contest.
Now this is just going from bad to worse for Romania. They are in control of the hard point right now, all down to one player, Blab, who is going to get shut out. Now the Philippines going to be back in. Hunter Killer Drone being sent out, and the split spawns will start to come through for Romania. And this is the problem, I think, for the Romanian side, is that ultimately you're going to start to face down a lot of investment of utility from the Philippines that they will have earned from the aforementioned hard points, where they absolutely ran through Romania, and you're starting to see that come out to bear right now. You're starting to kind of see as well, I mean, there's 20 seconds left here, Connie. You kind of almost have to get that up to Romania. You want a full 60 in the next hard point, and it is a big thing to give up at this stage of the game.
Absolutely, and look at the way Philippines are already tackling the next hill. They're actually getting beyond the spawn for Romania, so they're going to flip them out of P4. It's crazy. Philippines can probably get another 60 here, because Romania can't hold their own spawns. They're losing crucial 1v1s, and what they are trying to now deal with is the extremities by which Romania are breaking through the north side of the map. Philippines are just controlling it comfortably.
Yeah, the Philippines in control right now. Last time we went to a listen-in with Spain when they were down. How about a listen-in with the winning team? Let's find out what the Philippines comms sounds like.
Hardpoint contested. Enemy
Ay, namatay ako fountain.
Aga ka fountain pa. Talo fountain. Ikat piyon.
Pointed.
Talo piyon. Tas break.
Dead P1.
Brick.
Two bricks. Dead bricks.
Flip na.
Ay, one more bricks. Low.
Brick up. Two brick dead.
Ako na scrap, guys.
I-flip nyo na.
Coffee. Point na.
Panis ako. Pag-grapes ako.
Oh my goodness, it's a listening. I actually understand. The comms are crisp for the Philippines as they are in control right now. And I don't know if Romania have much of a say in this one. Everyone is being put down at the moment.
To be fair, in terms of rotations towards the next set of hills, I mean, they're controlling mid comfortably. The War Machine has been pulled out. Lamau is making a lot of effort here just to control every single possible choke point that Philippines can exhaust and get in. Fortunately, he's fallen, though. Philippines now have swarmed the hill. Exactly what you'd expect when, you know, Romania are relying a lot here on the heavy streaks. Philippines as well can now start to use theirs with utility saved in the back pocket, too. They didn't really spend many nades to try and break this hill, Brody. So they are now just going to use Sanik's Archer just to get everything locked down nicely, and 167 points, a massive gap now for Romania to try and climb.
If he gets more kills to the Sparrow, well, this is spell disaster. He's just a sliver away from the EMP, and that kill is going to guarantee it. Oh, and Delta injury as Sanik gets yet another kill. Surely not number 3. It's actually his 4th in the spree, and this is just so terrible for Romania. They are absolutely spinning their wheels at the moment. Their only hope really is getting in the next hard point. You actually managed to control it, but now Sanik on the way. He wants to do more damage. Finally, get shut down. Finally, a glimmer of hope for Romania. They get the diff machine out before that EMP can come into play.
Well, Brody is starting to really eclipse now. A massive game for the Philippines. Nearly at 200 points. This death machine alongside combination streaks. Romania is still luckily spawning in the back, but they can't fight towards hill. I mean, Philippines can take cover and get time.
Philippines in control for the moment. Romania, in control at the moment. Philippines now trying to do exactly what Romania couldn't do on the last set of rotations, which is breaking through the front of this hard point. Cookie towards the back line. Good opportunity to get a couple of kills. Try and clear out some space through archers. Nice shots through the smoke. Pops who will be the player to win that gunfight. Cookie trying to follow up more, but he will get overwhelmed. And now Philippines have flipped the spawns, but there is still an opportunity for Romania to hold this one from the front if they could possibly find more kills. It doesn't necessarily look like that's going to happen. Sanek is going to invest the Sparrow to ensure that the scrap time is going the way of the Philippines. And I think you're starting to panic now a little bit, right? Because Romania, you're down in this game. You can't really afford to take a 45-15 split, even at this stage of the competition.
You cannot. And Romania, again, have to be perfect here from this point out. And they're going to a P3, which Philippines, again, have broken many times. Even gifting Romania free rotation to this in the last set. It's just going to be a very challenging outcome. And certain players have to turn up. Maybe all of them. Because they're getting outgunned, they're getting outmarked. The streak usage now in this game is drastic to the last one, Brody. Philippines are pulling out the entire weapons locker to get this one done.
Romania going to bring the Gravity Vortex gun. A bit of a peculiar operator for this map. That's generally speaking not the map that you see the Gravity Vortex gun come out on. You really only ever see it on Combine. So curious that it is coming out to play here for Blab. Of course, I really shouldn't question him that much. He's not having a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. 20 frags to their name. Also, not that far ahead. We'll be Addy at 21 and Pops at 27. Philippines 22 points shy of victory. And Romania doing a good job right now, holding on towards P2 control. 15 seconds left though, Connie. And now again, it's Philippines knocking at the door. You're once again kind of facing that question. How much of this time can you really give up?
Exactly. Philippines now probably take 10-5 seconds apiece. Romania have to get 60 or full contest on every single hill. And Philippines, you know, they're not going to try and spend all their energy just to try and get this time down. I can see how they're playing this quite comfortably and structurally. They don't want to sacrifice momentum. They don't want to sacrifice potentially getting into a bad mood from not converting as early as they'd like. Romania now have started to find a little bit of form, albeit late on. This is Philippines' easiest hill to break. But Romania hold on well, thanks to Lamau's efforts.
More kills starting to come through now for Romania. Splits on both sides. Players from the Philippines deal with on both sides. You take the trade around the front, but you haven't dealt with everybody inside the hard point just yet. Kills now coming through. Blab, good for a second. Now has to do more. Hits the reload, waits the rest of the team back out towards the open, and we'll find more frags. Blab single-handedly keeping his team in, but it doesn't matter. Sanek's going to follow up the Sparrow, and now the Philippines, they want a cool game here. More kills coming through for the Sparrow. Anybody for Romania, can you touch in time? It doesn't look like it. Philippines, it kind of feels like it's right for the Sparrow to close out that game because it has been so pivotal for the Philippines throughout it.
Absolutely, not just across this hill, but P2 as well. Excellent in controlling. What really kind of made me aware is that despite Romania having good spawns and playing control very well across the map, they were just not muscling in on hills. I mean, Sanik alone is all we need to say about this map. 62 kills, over a minute in time, a perfect impact score as well. Albeit, when you mentioned about the Sparrow, Brody, half them kills probably were the Sparrow. Let's be realistic here on that one. But it's just such a chasm between the rest of his team and the rest of the entirety of Romania as well. It's just nuts how one person can do this to a team.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite a Chuso 74 in the hard point, is it? But it still is quite a massive scoreline. It was 61, 64, something to that effect, in that region at the end of that game. Just a phenomenal performance coming out from one player on the Filipino side there, and just constant Sparrow coverage as well. You have to give him a lot of love for the Philippines. Yeah, it was Sanic with 62 kills is what Sanic finished with, which is just insanic, as it were. UCE looking pretty good here. The Philippines looking pretty good here as they go 1-0 up in the series. They almost 100-point club at their opposition. We did learn from the last series, though, that a hardpoint win doesn't necessarily translate into a search and destroy win. So there is an opportunity here, Connie, for Romania to bounce back.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it with Spain in the last series where they got smashed on a hard point, but in the search and destroy, you know, one player can change an entire team. Romania, we've yet to see who that star-studded player might be, but again, the sniper rifles on standoff are clearly the biggest X factor. That's what Moby used to change the game and, you know, not just convert 1v4s, but control sections of the map where England were dominating with incredible utility usage. The Philippines, again, we're not sure how the S&D is structured or what might come about, but listen, nade versus sniper rifle, it's going to be a tough one to call. We've seen many instances where it just hasn't been a case.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like at this level, right? We've talked a lot about this, but ultimately, there's a lot of one-dimensional search and destroy going on here, right? You're not going to expect world-class search and destroy kind of in this setting where you don't have official rosters, right? You've got a lot of, like, pickup teams effectively representing countries. And so a lot, yeah, the search and destroy is going to come down to how good are your set nades? You know, how good are your kind of five-man hitting these bomb sites? How good is your 1 or 2 sniper rifle player on the roster? Well, we're about to find out. Addy, sniper rifle in hand, whiffing the first. Not great. Now it has to be the back spot of the players towards the site itself, and Pops will find one with an aid, but that's all the value that he's going to find in this round because it might already be over.
Wow, what a very convincing opening break-off for the Philippines. And Cookie is just left scratching here. The French timeout might have to come into play, Brody. Just not a single round can be converted here or fought. Just kind of plan ahead where it went wrong and figure out what should happen next in round number 2. Oh, Christ. I mean, it's not what you want to see for Romania after a tough hard point. A good team talk was had, but Philippines just smashed everyone. Just convincingly pushed through mid. Utility was great. 4v1. And you know what we did before? We did before England and Spain. It was 2-0, but then suddenly something clicked and Spain switched on. Romania might have the moment as well. It's too early to tell. Nades across the middle of the map. Both teams pushed towards their designated sites.
Alright, Philippines. Good start to this one. It's aggressive. Push through the back valley here, and it's more kills going in their favor. You take those trades all day long. Sashi! Oh, finds 2 in the middle of the map, and now it's just down to 80. Will at least revenge his fallen comrades, but you're now asking for a 1v2. At the very least, he has the Tundra in hand.
He does. Not in an optimal position, though. He's not too high up, and he's mainly around cover. Can be utilized, too, since we've seen fast sniper rifle players before, especially in a 1v2 instance. But it's a bit too rangy, a bit too slow to try and convert, especially Philippines setup here, Brady. They're covering any sort of choke, any sort of big angle. The headphones are maxed out too, probably. It's just, you know, a lights out shut off close they're trying to get here.
He's got to check towards his left. Jonas isn't necessarily looking that direction. Now he most certainly is. AD has taken the shot, so even if you lose this 1 versus 1, there isn't really enough time for something spectacular for the second kill. So, big kills early on in that round. Big push with the back alley coming out from the Philippines. And Sashi, of course, with the double snipe really does feel like it closes the door on anything special for Romania. 2-0 down right now. It feels like we need to see something special from Romania kind of here in this one.
Look at that break-off, Brody. Send 2 towards A. 3 back in spawn. Philippines are very aggressive here. They might overcommit and cause a massive mistake. Nope. They punch their way through. Simple trades equalize into a 3v3. Sadie's pushed up here with a sniper rifle. This is panic mode here from Romania. And Philippines have got Romania just where they want them. Although, Blab exits a couple excellent kills. And now it's a 1v3 where Sachi has to answer the questions.
He's revealed his position. Sees the second player. Oh my god, that's the second time he's with that snipe. How many looks are you going to give him? I think he might have actually just saw the second player as well. So he knows where both Sadie and Blab are in this situation. He has time to work with. The big issue here for Sashi is the fact that that bomb is sat squarely at the toes of Sadie. So anytime you take, the end result still more or less has to be the same. You have to find either of these 2 kills or somehow retrieve that bomb from the Lion's Den and get it down on site. And Sashi, again, same kind of situation here where you have to clear every single corner you possibly can. Check everything. Put shots in through everything as well. Here we go. Point of contact for Sashi. I think you might have heard him. Might have been English. Blab to the left. Good for the first. Sashi down to 1v1. Sashi! Good for it. A 1v2.
What a sequence, Brody. Flicks on the first and then centered on the second. You won't find sniping better than that. Look at just what we have here. Philippines 3-0 up. Romania just been shut down every single time. Had control in the last round, but Sachi brilliance again. You just can't understand it if you're Romania where it's just not going wrong, where the stars aren't aligning. But hang on, look at this push from the Philippines. Look at the 4 from Pops. Oh my, and it's one left. One big mistake from Philippines. Romania just have had an insurgence back into the series.
Well, about that round from Pops completely pops off against the Philippines. That is exactly the kind of round that Romania needed. You don't see something like that every day, especially given the fact what Sashi was able to do in the prior round. That is exactly the response that we needed to see from Romania, and more specifically Pops, who had been relatively quiet in this search and destroy so far. Comms will be much more merry now, won't they? And Romania able to take their time a little bit. It feels like they've almost kind of immediately affected the kind of play style from the Philippines. They are playing this round much slower.
Oh, and it's going to be a massive change here for the remaining mid-rounds too, Brody. I mean, the nades are also a lot lighter. You saw in the crossfire that nothing really was thrown utility-wise. And Philippines now just trying to save their graces. I think now post-plant might be more common. Sanic again, just, you know, mopping up a couple extra kills. 2v4, of course, is on the cards. But I think Philippines now preparing now for where Romania might get bombed down and play it longer, despite now being in a 1v4.
Sadie's been good kills previously. I don't know if a 1v4 might be too much to ask for her, especially as the bomb is about to go down over by 8. Time's are ticking. Sadie takes down Sonic. That's actually a pretty big player to take off the board. Sashi is probably the one you want to take down next, of course. He's been an electric Tundra player. Problem is, he doesn't check to his left, so even if he gets this kill, he should be dead to right by way of Sashi. Yep, there's the 3B against Jonas. Sashi's actually pretty slow to this, but I think that might well benefit him, considering the fact he didn't make noise previously. There's no reason to check the hail bells, and that, unfortunately, will not work out in Romania's favor.
That's the problem, of course, being in any 1vx situation. Just you clear everything mentally and justify, like, I'm going to be fine here. Well, clearly not. I mean, again, hay bells, no noise made. Just like you said, Brody, don't difficult one to swallow. But now the commitment towards A and every piece utility spent for the Philippines. The pinch from Pops again. It's, wow, okay, a lovely double. Won't pay off again the same dividends as the last round, but it's a big impact to have. Romania need it.
Gives them the door open. Sashi. I think well could slam it shut. Yep. There's one. Sashi. Oh, not good for the second. That's a big player to take down, but you're removed back from the other side. Now it's just Nonis 2 versus 2. Nell's shot's not that great. Brings Sensei down to a 1 versus 2. At the very least, Sensei has the bomb in this situation.
Wowee. Sadie. Final closing kill. 2-4 is the final score in the first half. We'll flip it round now. So Romania planting bomb, and Philippines again on their attacking side. 4-2 win. I mean, Brody, when it comes to standoff, I don't know. It's always been 50-50 with me in terms of attack versus defense, but Philippines are technically unfavorable here, and they're doing really well. So, oh, Sadie, though. Immediate first blood drawn from a lovely snipe.
Oh, but he gets sniped almost immediately back from Sashi, so you take that trade. Sashi continues his reign of terror here on standoff. And now the Philippines, 2 men up. Cookie and Blab, relatively split in this situation here. Janos is wasting no time to try and regain some real estate with that kill. Has just spotted the barrel of Blab. Blab is dead to rights. And now Cookie, as I said, was relatively split up from his teammate here. He has to pull up a 1 versus 4. And the only positive in that situation is they don't know where you are. Sensei immediately rips that asunder.
Simply gorgeous. And Philippines now just 2 rounds away from converting the series. And bear in mind, qualifying for playoffs, which we weren't going to say before this series. But now, this is where the stakes and the stars are aligning. Everything's raised to the highest bar. A smoky mid as well allows a push now for Shensei to get closer towards Statue. But looking at Romania, they're taking a lot of cover. Philippines now are invited in to try and exploit the back of the map. The players pushed up right towards the top tower. And this is now just prime map control from Philippines.
Philippines in control of the numbers advantage. Gets worse. That's a big player for Romania. Pops is done and dusted. Now just down to Sadie and Cookie. Sadie, even if he finds that first kill, should be dead to rights for the second. Switches to the melee. Oh, almost gets away with a manic kill against Sanic. It's not to be. And now it's once again Cookie for the 1 versus 4. Has better chances at the release with the first kill already through, but the second slide out from Sanic is too much to ask for. And it is yet again another round for the Philippines. They find themselves a match point.
Okay, Romania. Definitely not the ideal situation, but have to chain at least, you know, perfect rounds here to get back into this one. They've been forced on overtime too, but look. Main's now flying high. Philippines are smashing it all the way through the middle of the map. Romania have their guns up and ready, but the speed of Sanic has always been a problem, and it might replicate itself again in this match with Sachi getting first blood.
Romania, you can really feel the intensity in this round now, can't you? It's just like you're 1 man down. Where do you go?
Twitchy.
Sanic is getting aggressive, though, and Romania will take advantage of that, bringing this down to a 4 versus 4. If you can just get a couple more kills, maybe even just 1 more kill, and get some site control, the thing that's kind of eluded you this entire offensive side, Romania will be fine and dandy, but they feel anything but at the moment.
And look how slow they are as well. The X-ray for Romania is just, you know, a great example of their pacing right now, too. They don't want to over-aggress and lose a life. Because even in the 4v4 Philippines, there's so much more map control, so much more freedom, and they're just waiting to counter Romania. It's a massive punch. By a way, they get another kill on the board. Philippines, their response again is to collateral towards B and try and get a couple X's of their own, which they do. Bomb is dropped and a wrap back again for Romania, where tidily they can get this, but Philippines, they have no idea.
That's the big thing. Philippines might as well do it by kills. That's the big issue, though, for Romania. It's been Romania's issue this entire search and destroy. And they're all down to Pops. It's not to be. Romania down. The Philippines go marching on. They will book a place in the playoff bracket with a 7-2 search and destroy victory.
Simply gorgeous and a wonderful showing from the Philippines, and many congratulations. We did not have this amped up, this series, to be anything special, waiting for the next few matches to roll on, but because of Spain's controversial exit, Philippines and Romania had a chance today to fight for a qualification spot. And look, England and Philippines will go through the playoffs, and it's going to be quite a special showing as well from what was a series regularly kind of placed there, Brody. I mean, it's just elation right now for Philippines, and Sashi as well is the sole proprietor for that map, especially throughout the whole series, as a reason why they're there in that place.
Yeah, shout out to Shashi. 14 kills, and almost every single one of them was electric, venomous. Every single one was effective against Romania, put a stop to any bad habits that they might have had on that map. So that is Romania done and dusted. They are out in the tournament. We effectively, at this point, given the fact that Spain have forfeited all the remaining matches, we now know who will be going through out of this group between England and the Philippines. So congratulations to those two teams. We'll have 1 match left in Group C to be played next, or Group B, excuse me, next week. Speaking of Group C, though, that's what's next up, of course. That'll be happening on Thursday. You and Aska will be taking the helm for that one, mate.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to actually seeing what Group C has to offer. I mean, the context today of Group B and being alongside yourself as well is just a nice sort of stepping stone, especially in this stage where we're still letting teams qualify and figure out how the playoff bracket will look. Hey, it's been a great experience today. Beautiful matches and even better highlights for you to take home.
All right, well, it has been a fun day of Call of Duty Mobile, of course. If you guys want more Call of Duty Mobile action, keep it locked here on the Atlas YouTube channel. We'll be giving away more action for the UCE Nations Cup over the next week or so as we throttle our way towards that all-important 8-team playoff bracket. I can't wait to see which teams make it through the group stage, and guys will not have to wait that long to find out more teams making it through, of course, as we said, Group C. That's going to be on Thursday. Thank you to everybody for watching at home. Thank you to the production for making all of this happen behind the scenes, and thank you to the players for participating, for the most part, those who had their names correctly on broadcast and didn't use banned items. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all of you. We'll see you on Thursday for more UCE action.